start. Now we're going to do our usual warm up here. All the way to the back. You guys can see me, okay? And we're just going to do your little Tai Chi, arms move, with the heel, with your hips, let everything start to open up. Come to stop here. As we come to stop here, now we're going to do our skier. So you're going to bring your feet hip width distance apart, take your hands up to the sky, bend your knees, send your hips back and down, squeeze your hands back behind you. Push forward, come back in. All right, and we're just going to do that 9 more times. 9, 8, 7, 4, 3, 2. All right, now let your hands come down, keep your feet out as wide as you can. With your toes pointed forward, take your hands up to the sky. Here we'll do our windmill, so you're going to bring your left hand to your right ankle. Back up, go the other way. Right hand, left hand. Just going back and forth, back and forth. A few more here. One more each way. Come all the way up. Let your hands come down. Now bring your feet. Yeah. And now from here, we're going to come all the way down. So we're going to bring yourself down to a seat. So you're going to let your heels lift, bend your knees, drop all the way down. And then from there, we're going to come to our belly. We're going to do a little warm up right here. All right, so you're going to come all the way forward. So you're laying on your belly. I'm going to come a little bit sideways here so you guys can see my whole body. All right, so I'm going to lie down. Now, here, you want to take your hands, right? You're going to bring your hands right by your chest with your elbows, bring your back behind you, shoulder blades pulling together. All right, now we're going to come into a baby cobra first. You guys are used to this, right? Thing. But we're doing here in our bodies to warm our back. Now I want your feet to be pressed, the tops of your feet to be pressing into the mat. And then you're going to lift up into your baby cobra. So that means you peel your head, your chest up off the mat. Let your hands lift off the mat here, right? You're feeling that in your low back. Now from here, you're going to drop your hands down to the mat. Tap your forehead all the way to the mat, right? And then keep your hands on the mat, not pressing into the mat, but just on the mat. Lift your head up and lift your feet up off the mat. Right, so now you're in a little locust. And then press your feet down, let your forehead come down. Lift up in the baby cobra, let your hands out. Put your hands and your forehead down. And then float your forehead, lift your feet. Locust. All right, so we're going to do that 3 more times. So here, the tops of the feet drop down, the forehead drops down. Then we lift the head, the chest, the hands up. Drop the hands, tap the forehead. And now you're floating your forehead. So when you come up, the crown of your head is pointed towards the top of your mat. You're lifting the tops of your feet, right? When you let the feet come down, let the forehead come down, back. Your baby cobra. Let's do that twice more, right? So come down, tap your head, float your forehead, lift your feet, drop your feet, drop your head, and then lift up to baby cobra, let your palms lift a little bit. 1 more time. Drop down. Tap your forehead. Lower your forehead. Lift your feet. Lower off your feet. Let your forehead come down. And lift back up into cobra. Now here, lower off everything down. Now we're going to push up into tabletop. Right, now this time, as we come into tabletop, right, we're going to come into plank. All right, now, as we come into plank here, right, your choice, you can be in a modified plank, or you can be in a full plank, right? In modified plank, I'm here, my knees are back behind my hips. So, the side, just like this, right? So, I've got one straight line from my shoulder down to my knees. My shoulders are right over my wrists. I'm not hiking those hips back. They're tucked in. Okay? That's your modified plank. Your knees have to be behind your hips, not a tabletop. If you want to come to full plank for this, you can. Have your toes under, lift your hips up. And then from that full plank, one straight line from your shoulder down to your heels. Now what we're going to do here, you're going to take your right foot, tap it out to the side, bring it back in, left foot tap to the side, come back in. You're just going back and forth. I want you to do it about 10 times each side. Okay, find your rhythm. If you're down on your knees, it's just the knee that's tapping out. Tap, tap, tap. Do about 5 more each side, whether you're on your toes or you're on your knees. Not already here. Right, let yourself shift back into child's pose. Back into child's pose. Just take a couple breaths there. Let everything relax off the wrist. Now we're going to go back into our plank from here when you're ready. So again, it's either a modified plank or it's a full plank. Here's modified plank. Here's full plank. Now this time, you're going to lift your right foot up. Tap your right elbow to your right knee. Then back. Lift your left foot up. Tap your left elbow to your left knee. Now you can do this from your knees, right? You lift that right knee up, bring it forward, tap your right elbow, to the back, to the left. Okay. So, whether you're on your knees or on your toes, that's what it looks like. We're going to do it about 10 times. I'm going to do it 6 more times here. 4 more times each side. 4, modified plank, drop your knees, shift it back to child's pose. All right, now from here, we're going to rise up. We're going to come around to a floating table, right? So you're going to lay on your back. I guess that's where we should start, right? Lay on your back. That's the sideways look here. Bring those legs to the floating table. You want your knees right over your hips. Tap across the ground. Now what we're going to do here basically, right, is crow to handstand, right? But crow to handstand on our back. Right? So I want you to take your hands up to the sky, right? And then you're going to bend your elbows. So your elbows are pointed toward your knees. Okay? You want your elbows and your knees, or your elbows and your thighs, to touch each other. So you're pushing those elbows forward. Drive those knees in. So it's kind of like this. All right? Now, you're going to flip your hands, right? So your palms are pointed towards the back of the room. Right? This was what it would look like if you were a crow balancing on your palms. But we're not doing that, right? We're laying on our back. Now, you can always take, just like in crow, you can always take your elbows, press into the inside of your knees. You can get your elbows, or you can get your triceps, really, to touch your knees. That's where you want to be. And the palms are flipped back. Now we're going to go from here to a handstand position. So you extend your legs. You're going to let your heels just hover over the mat. You're taking your hands, bringing it back. Behind you, touching your fingertips to the ground. Palms point towards the back of the room. That's our handstand position, just like we were on our hands. Except, right, we'll lift our back. Now, bring it all back in. Right, triceps to the knees. The palms flipped. And then take it back. Push in the handstand. Right, so we're going to do that about 8 let everything hug in. Rock your hips side to side. A little bit here. Right, now take your take your feet, drop them down to the mat. Right, so now you look like this, you're in this supine position. You're gonna take your arms all the way overhead. All right? You want your feet grab first, forward, and then back in. Up to you. Lift your hands up. Lift your arms usually. Let your arms be momentum. Right? Pull up. You're throwing your arms forward, right? Flinging your arms forward. You can bring your belly all the way up to your thighs, right? So it's like that. Right? So then you're coming down, taking your arms back behind. If you have a weight in your hands, this is easier, right? The weight makes your body put here. Bring something forward, so you up and down. So I'm going to do this about 10 times. We're going to do 3 more here. 3, 2, 1. And let yourself come all the way back down. All right, so we came all the way back down. Now, as we come back down, we're going to do that again, but we're going to add on a little bit if you want to. If you don't, you can just do what we just did, right? So your arms go overhead, and you're trying to bring yourself up, right? So you're coming all the way up, and then as you come up, right, your hands are kind of reaching up. See if you can lift your feet up off the ground. Kick your feet towards your fingertips. Your fingertips and your toes are touching. You don't have to hold it, right? You just a little tap, and then you set it back down, and you lay all the way back down, right? So that's the movement. It looks like this. You come up, as soon as you come up, you kick your toes. You drop back down, come back down, all right? So add that on if you can. If you want to just stay where you were, lifting up and down, that's okay too. We're gonna do 7 more here. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and 1. And then come all the way back down. Now this time as you come back down, take your knees, bring them into your chest, right? Rock back and forth. Give yourself that little spinal massage. Your spine was working a lot, and let it have a little break. All right, now from there, take your hands, bring them back down to the mat. All right, as your hands come back down, or your feet come back down to the mat, now your arms this time are gonna go straight up to the sky, right? And then you're gonna interlace your fingers, you're making that pointer finger mudra, right? We'll call it the Charlie's Angels pose. Right, so you're here with your pointer fingers pointed up to the sky, your feet on the ground. Now, what you're gonna do here, you're gonna lift up your head and shoulders, and you're gonna point those fingers outside your right thigh. So you wanna peel both shoulders up off the ground, really reach those fingers outside the right thigh. And then you come all the way back down, arms overhead. So we're gonna keep doing that, right? Lift up. Now we're gonna go I shouldn't say keep doing that. We're gonna go the other way. You're gonna lift your head and shoulders up, peel them up, reach those fingertips outside the left knee. Come all the way back down. Right, so just keep going here, back and forth. So you want both shoulders to lift, right? So I'm not laying on my left shoulder, right? I've got my left shoulder lifted as I come to the left. Same when I go to the right. I'm not laying on my right shoulder. I've got it lifted. My whole upper body is lifted. It's just twisting slightly, one direction or the other, making those obliques work. Keep your feet glued to the ground. Do 4. Well, after this one, start on the right, we're gonna do 4 more each way. 4. 4. 3. 3. 2. 2. Last one each way. 1. And 1. Right, I'm gonna let yourself come all the way down here. Let your hands come to your sides. All right, now from here, you're gonna bring your feet back in to floating table. All right, so you want your knees over your hips, calves parallel to the ground, feet flexed, toes going towards the ceiling. All right, now we're gonna just do some basic bicycles at first. We're gonna do 6, right? So it's a whole sequence. So each time in each sequence, we do 6 bicycles. That means 3 on each side, okay? You take your fingertips behind your neck, right? Elbows to the sides. Now you're gonna extend your left leg long, so that left heel hovers over the mat. Keep your right knee right over your right ankle, or right knee over your right ankle, right knee over your right hip. You're gonna keep your right elbow on the ground. Peel that left shoulder up, bring it towards the right knee. And then you come back down, so your head and shoulders lift. The right elbow stays anchored. Now we go the other way, so you pull that left knee back in. Send your right leg long, so your right heel's hovering, left elbow stays on the ground. Peel your right shoulder up, bring your right shoulder towards your left knee, right? Don't flap around with that right elbow. Try to bring the shoulder towards the knee. It's not gonna touch, but, right, it's a better way to get the full range of motion. Think about your shoulder moving, not your elbow. All right, come back. Just do that twice more each side, right? So, take it to the right, come back down, switch your legs, take it to the left, come back down, switch your legs one more time each way, twist right, switch it out, twist left, switch it out. Now, from here, we're back in floating table. You're gonna take your hands, you can reach them back behind you, or you can reach them forward. You're gonna rock yourself up into boat, right? So that means peeling your head and shoulders up off the mat. You wanna come here with your feet covering the mat, right? You have to grab onto your knees while you do this, that's okay, right? Once we come up to boat, then we're gonna lower to canoe. So in canoe, your legs extend long so both heels cover the mat. Your lower body goes down, your upper body goes down until your shoulders are just covering the mat. So this is a low canoe, shoulders, heels barely on the mat. You could be in a higher canoe if this is hard for you, with your legs higher in the air, right? So, and then once you get there, let your head and shoulders come down, then into your knees, you can come back into floating table. So that's the whole sequence, right? We're gonna do 6 bicycles, that's 3 each side. We rock it up to boat, we take it down to canoe, we come back to floating table. All right, so we're gonna do that whole sequence 5 or 6 more times, right? So start with your fingertips behind your head, take your 6 bicycles, okay? To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. One more, right, and left, and then come down, reach your arms either overhead or straight up, rock yourself up into boat. From boat, we lower it down to canoe. From canoe, your head and shoulders come down, then back into your knees, and back into your bicycle position. So let's do that again. 3 bicycles each side, 6 total. 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, from there, rock it up to boat. Roll it down to canoe. And then come back in to tabletop. Let's do it again. All right, so we're coming to the bicycles. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down, keep your arms overhead or straight up. Rock it up to boat. Drop it down to canoe. And then let your head and shoulders come down, come back into floating table. All right, so we're just gonna do that whole thing twice more too. So twice more through. So let's just start with the bicycles, right? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop here, reach your arms, rock it up to boat, roll it down to canoe, and then bring it back to floating table. All right, can we do that one more time? Hands behind the head, 6 bicycles. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach your arms, take it up to boat. Drop it down to canoe. Just hold your canoe here. 3 breaths, wherever you are. 2 more. 1 more breath. And then drop it all the way down. Now take your arms overhead, point your toes like the tip of a pencil. Open everything up. All right, now from here, just bend into your knees, let yourself roll to one side or the other. We're gonna come back up. Now, we're gonna come here into a plank position, right? This is a challenging little sequence. We'll probably only do it like 3 times through. We'll see how you guys do, all right? So we're gonna come into plank. Now it could be a modified plank to begin with if you want it to be, right? But here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take, the wrong way because I'm gonna start on the right side. Okay, so you're gonna take your right foot, whether you're in plank or modified plank. I want you to take that right foot, lift it up. You're gonna step your right foot outside your right hand, right? And you want a little bit of space there, right? I don't want my hand touching my foot or my foot touching my hand. Because then here's what you're gonna do from here, all right? You gotta keep that left arm nice and strong, left shoulder over the left wrist. Now, you're gonna bring your left foot forward and you're gonna kick it in between that space between your right foot and your right hand. And then as you come forward, you can grab on to your left toes with your right hand. Maybe not, right? Maybe your hand stays down. And then you're gonna take that leg, send it back, right? Now, you're gonna pick up your right foot and then take that right foot, kick it underneath your left armpit. Let your left heel drop, take your left hand up to the sky. Right? Drop that left hand down, take that right foot back, we're back in plank, drop your knees, shift to child's pose, right? So the hard part, right, is that kick, that first kick through. So we're gonna do it on the other side. I'm gonna show you some alternatives. Right, so we're gonna come back up, right? Now, this time you can do it from your knees or from your toes. I'm gonna pretend like I'm on my knees here. I'm gonna be on my knees, right? And I'm gonna pick up my left foot, my left knee, and then I'm just gonna put that left foot outside my left hand. So I've got some space there, right? Now, you're gonna pick up that right foot, it's gonna go in between. So maybe, right, you're here. Maybe you just step it forward as far as you can, tap it right by your left heel, and then bring it back. But if you can, kick it all the way through, grab onto your toes with your left hand, come up, right? But then wherever you are, whether you just tap that to the toes next to the left foot, or you're up in the air like me, now you're gonna take that right foot back, put it back in plank position. Now you lift up your left foot, kick it underneath the right, drop that right heel. And again, you can keep your hands down. If you can, reach your right hand up to the sky. Drop it down, take it back to plank. Drop your knees, shift it back to child's pose. All right, so there's the sequence. Give you all the options. We're gonna do it twice more through. Right, not too long, it's hard. You're breathing hard, just doing it once, right? It's okay. All right, so we're gonna come forward into plank or modified plank. Okay, you're gonna lift up your right foot, right knee, step that right foot outside your right hand. And then you're gonna come forward with the left foot, either just tapping or kicking it all the way through. Right, send that left foot back, pick up that right foot, kick it underneath your left armpit. You want to lift up your left hand. Drop the left hand, bring it all back to plank, drop your knees, shift to child's pose. All right, come back up to tabletop. Come to your plank or modified plank. And then we're back on the right side, right? No, we're on the left side. We're gonna pick up the left foot and we're gonna step it outside the left hand, right? And then you're kicking your right foot through, either tapping it next to your left heel or kicking it all the way through. Take it back into plank, pick up your left foot, kick it underneath your right armpit, take your right hand up to the sky. Drop it all down, step back into plank, drop your knees, shift to child's pose. All right, just one more time through here. We're gonna come up into our tabletop, shift it to plank or modified plank. Take your right foot, step it outside your right hand. And then take your left foot, either kick it through or tap those left toes back behind your right heel. Step that left foot back into plank. Kick the right foot underneath the left armpit. Lift your left hand. Drop the left hand, take it back to plank. Drop down to your knees, shift to child's pose. All right, you guys are doing great. Last time with this, we're gonna go on the left side. So when you're ready, come up to tabletop, bring it to plank, lift up your left foot, tap your left foot outside your left hand. Then you're gonna come forward with that right foot, either tapping it, kicking it through. Take it back to plank. Take that left foot, kick it underneath the right armpit. Lift your right hand. Drop it down to tabletop. Take that left foot back to plank. Drop down to your knees. Shift to child's pose. All right, now come back up into tabletop. And then from there, you're gonna let your hips come to one side or the other. Swing your legs around. Now we're gonna lie down on our back now. Get off our arms for a little bit. I'm gonna get you guys back up with your arm strength, right? In a month or so, we're gonna start doing yoga again. You're gonna want that arm strength. But right now, let's give them a little break. You're gonna take your feet, you're laying on your back, you're gonna take your feet up to the sky. All right, flex your feet like you're gonna step on the ceiling. Now what we're gonna do here at first, right? Reach your hands forward, let your hands hover, right? Peel your head and shoulders up off the mat, reach those fingertips towards the front of your mat. Now what you're gonna do here, right? You're gonna push your right fingertips forward and you're gonna draw that left shoulder back, right? So now your fingers aren't even, right? Fingertips are reaching more forward, left fingers drew back. Switch it out here, even out your shoulders, and then push that left shoulder forward, draw that right shoulder back. Come back to center here, just keep going. Your head should be lifted. If you have to drop it down, you can, right? It makes it harder to get that full range of motion in the shoulders though. Tuck your chin to your chest, just look straight up at the ceiling. Keep your feet flexed. 3 more times each side. 3, 3, 2, 2, last one, 1, and 1. All right, now let your head and shoulders come down. Keep your feet up to the sky. From here, you're gonna take your arms overhead. All right, now, I'm gonna peel up here. You're gonna let your right heel drop down so it's hovering the mat. You're gonna peel your head and shoulders up off the mat. Your left hand's gonna reach straight forward. Your right hand is gonna reach up towards your left toes. Right, and then pull that right leg back up. Take both arms back overhead. Let your head and shoulders come down. Switch out your sides. Drop that left heel till it hovers the mat. Lift your head and shoulders up. Right fingertips reach straight forward. Left fingertips reach up towards your right toes. And then let your hands come overhead. Pull that left leg back up. So we're going to keep alternating here. Right heel drops. Left hand reaches forward. Right hand reaches up. Everything comes back down. Right foot comes back up. Switch it out. Left foot drops. Left hand reaches up. Right hand reaches forward. Bring it back. All right, so just keep going here. Alternating your sides. You drop that heel without letting it hit the ground. The more you lift your head and shoulders, the more you're going to get out of it. Now you can let that heel drop lower, right? A little easier. You You can let your head and shoulders stay down. A little easier, right? Make it easier, you can make it harder. But you want it to be you want to be at a place where it's challenging for you, right? It shouldn't be easy, but you can still do it. All right, let's just do it twice more on each side. One. No, that's not the last one. Have one more each side here. All right, and now let yourself relax all the way down. Now your feet are still up to the sky, arms are still overhead. Here, you're going to keep both feet up to the sky, right? You're going to peel your head and shoulders up, and you're just going to reach your fingertips towards your toes. So both sets of fingertips reaching towards both sets of toes. And then come back down. All right, so I just want you to do that 5 more times. It's a pretty simple movement. You're just lifting up, reaching. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now this time as you lift up, just stay right here, and then start to pulse, right? So you're not coming all the way down. You're just reaching your fingertips a little higher, coming about halfway down. Higher, halfway down. Keep pulsing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right now, let your head and shoulders come all the way down. Let your knees come in to your chest. Right, from here, we're going to do our knee pull-ins down here on our back. Keep your right knee kind of hugged into your chest right now. Take your left leg, extend it long so that your left heel is hovering over the mat, right, but not touching the mat. Now you're going to bring that left hand to the inside of your right knee. Take your right hand, bring it outside your right foot, and then let your head and shoulders lift. Draw your head and shoulders towards your right knee, right, and give that right knee a little tug in, like you're going to bring your nose and your knee together. Maybe you can't get them to touch. So it's tug, tug. And then from there, you're going to switch out your legs. Now you can keep your head and shoulders lifted. You can let them drop down in the middle. You can keep them down the whole time if you need to. Right, but now your right leg goes long. Bringing that left knee in. Right, hover your right heel, taking your right hand to the inside of your left knee, left hand to the outside of your left foot. Tug, tug, and then we switch. Right? Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. So keep going here, right? A couple things to think about. It doesn't matter if you mess it up and you put your hand on the outside of your knee, the other hand on the inside of your foot, right? It's just to keep our knees in line. You want your knees going all over the place. That's why we're doing that. Switch. Tug, tug, switch. When you give that little tug, tug, right? You're exhaling through your mouth. So it's, and you inhale through your nose as you switch. So let's do 3 more on each side. Last one each side. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug, switch. Tug, tug. And then bring both knees in. Let your head and shoulders relax down. Right now here, take your hands to the crease of your knees. Rock yourself up. Here, we're going to come into a hook line position. That means the knees are on the ground. Your head and shoulders are all up. Now, as we come here, right, I might have done this with you, the guys, a couple weeks ago. I can't remember if we did or not. If we did do it, we're going to do it again. It's good, right? Your hands are going to come back behind you, right? It doesn't really matter if your fingertips are pointed forward or to the sides or to the back, right? Because you're going to press into them and you're going to lift your hips up. So I want you to find the position where that's comfortable for you. So you're pressing into your palms, pressing into your feet, letting your hips lift up to the sky. Right? So it's a little reverse table. Now from here, right, you're going to lift up your right hand and swing it across your body. Now if that's too much, then don't do it, right? Just stay with your right hand down. Just keep your hips lifted, right? And then we're going to take the right hand back if we lifted it, drop the right hand back down. As you drop the right hand back down, then you drop your hips again, right? Keep your hands where they are. And then you're going to push up again, this time As you push up, take your left hand, sweep it across your body. Bring it back around, drop it down, come to your, down to your hips. All right, so that's the pattern. Now maybe all you're doing is lifting, holding for breath, coming back down. Lifting, holding for breath, coming back down if you don't want to add the hands. If you can add the hands, then you're adding the hands. Lifting the hips, sweeping the right hand, dropping it down, coming down. Lifting the hips, sweeping the left hand, dropping back down. So you decide which version you're doing. Let's do 4 more here, each side. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. Last one here. 1. All right, now drop all the way down. Take your hands, hug them around your shins. Tuck your chin to your chest, drop your forehead toward your knees, right? Relax your arms. Let your low back and your hip flexors release. Now, I want you to lift your head and shoulders up, but keep your knees hugged in, or keep your hands hugged around your knees, let's put it that way, right? And we're gonna try to come from here into our Bionic position, right? So in Bionic position, means you've got those hands hugged around your shins. You just rock back slightly so that your feet can lift up off the mat. So we're not having to engage the core. Now what we're gonna do here from our Bionic position, you're gonna roll down and you're gonna come into a floating table. Actually, I'm gonna do this sideways. Let that space here on the mat. All right, so I'm here in my Bionic position. And I'm gonna roll it down into floating table. That means my head and shoulders are gonna stay lifted. My knees are right over my ankles. My calves are parallel to the ground. So I'm reaching my hands forward right now. Right? Now you can always let your head come down if you need to. Try to keep your shoulders and your fingertips lifted just to engage the core, wherever you are. And then once you get down to floating table, you're gonna take your legs, kick them out long, right? The lower they go, the harder this is. So you could be all the way down, like in a canoe, right? Or you could just kick them at an angle, more like here, right? Where be in a place where it's challenging for you, right? But not something you can't do, all right? Now, from here, drop your heels to your glutes. See if you can grab around your shins, right? And rock it back up. And bring it all the way back in to your body, right? So maybe you can do it with your hands outside. You need to bring your hands to your thighs as you rock up and then move into bony. Once you're here, that's okay, right? But you want to get into that tight little ball here. Heels and feet hovering, right? But everything else tucked in as tight as you can. All right, so we're going to do that in a sequence about 5 more times. So you're going to release your hands, let yourself roll down into your floating table, right? Head and shoulders lifted, kick your legs out straight, bring them back in, right? Drop your heels to your glutes. Maybe you got to grab around your thighs. Maybe you can take your hands around your shins, rock it up, curl into Bami. Right? If you had to bring your hands to your thighs to rock it into Bami, now you hug them around your shins to get all the way into the pose. All right, so now we take it back down. We're going to roll back down into floating table. Your floating table, kick your legs long. Bring your legs back to floating table. Drop your heels, rock it up to Bami. Drop it back down to floating table. Kick your legs out straight. Back to floating table. Drop your heels to your glutes. Rock it up to Bami. We're going to do that 3 more times. So roll down to floating table. Kick the legs out long. Bring back to floating table. Drop the heels down to the glutes. Rock it up to Bami. Twice more. Right? So we're going to roll it down to floating table. Kick your legs out long. Bring them back in. Drop your heels to your glutes. Rock it up to Bami. All right, last one here, right? We roll it down to floating table. kick the legs out straight. Bring the legs back in, drop your heels to your glutes, rock it up to mommy. All right, now this time, as we come to our mommy, we're gonna come bring it down to floating table one more time, right? So let yourself come all the way down to floating table and then just take a little pause there. All right, we're gonna do our hundreds from here, right? You can do your hundreds right from floating table. You guys know the drill, right? You can just stay right in floating table, knees over the hips, calves parallel to the ground. You know, lift your head and shoulders up off the mat, reach those fingertips forward. And then we pat, 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 we count to 100, right? That's what the hundreds are. Most of you are familiar with them. Now, you can let your head come down here, shoulders and fingertips, just like I told you in that last sequence, have to stay elevated so that your core keeps engaging, right? So you can be here with your head down, doing your pat, pat, pats, or you can have your head lifted. Don't tuck your chin to your chest, because we're not trying to round the neck, put strain around the spine, put strain in the neck. Keep your chin pointed up to the sky even as you lift your head and shoulders. All right, now, leg position here. You can stay in floating table, you can hold your floating table the whole time we count to 100. That's fine. If you want to add to it, you either go from floating table as we count to 5, up to your legs straight to the sky as we count to 10. Drop back down as we count to 15, up as we count to 20. And it goes like that, right? Or if you really want to challenge yourself, you start with your legs straight up to the sky. You drop them to a 45-degree angle as we count to 5, bring them back up as we count to 10, down as we count to 15, and on, right? Now, what you don't want to do is stay here with your legs straight up to the sky the whole time we're doing the hundreds. That's a little too easy. So if you want to hold one position, then you're going to hold floating table, keeping your knees over your hips, keeping your calves parallel to the ground. All right, so I'm going to go to the middle level as we do this, which means that I'm going to go between floating table and straight up to the sky. Right, you can hold floating table the whole time if you want to make it easier, or you can go to that higher level. It's up to you. If you want to, as we count to 5, you can flip your palms up and down. Some people like to do that. Just remind them where they are. Gives a little tricep work. It doesn't really add anything to the core. If you don't want to do it, it's okay with me. Most of the time, I don't do it. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. We're going to inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exhale. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Inhale. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Exhale. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Inhale. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Exhale. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Inhale. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Exhale. 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Inhale. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Exhale. 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Inhale. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Exhale. 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Inhale. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Exhale. 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. Inhale. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Exhale. 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Inhale. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Exhale. 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. All right, let everything relax down. Take your knees, hug it into your chest. All right. All right, now from here, I'm going to roll to one side or the other. Actually, yeah, push yourself up here, right? And then just extend your legs long in front of you, right? Because we're going to finish off here with our roll-ups, right? So we're going to come, I want you to sit up nice and tall. Get your shoulders over your hips. I'm going to rock back and forth here. I want you to really feel your sit bones pressing into the mat. Take your hands, bring them to your sides, press into those palms, right? Like you're almost like you're going to lift your hips right up off the mat. So that it's not that, it's actually a lot of work just sitting right here like this. That's what it should feel like, right? Not easy. Now, try to keep everything right where it is, but take your hands and reach them in front of you with your palms facing each other. Right? You're going to tuck your chin down to your chest, and you're going to gently place yourself all the way down on the mat. So you're lying on your back. Your arms are going to go overhead, fingertips reaching towards the back of the room. I'm going to flip around here so you guys can see my whole body. Right now, the key here is we're going to try to get back to where we just were. But keeping your heels glued to the ground, feel your sacrum, your sit bones pressing into the mat, right? And you're just going to peel yourself up. So you're trying to peel up without, right, your lower body moving. Bring yourself all the way up with your hands reaching forward, or you can come with your hands reaching up. But then you're going to take that C curve where you're reaching your fingertips toward your toes, letting your spine make that C curve. Now, if you don't reach your toes, it's okay, right? You're just reaching towards them, making that C curve, right? Then we come back up and we go back down, right? So slower here than our usual roll-ups, with more stops along the way, right? Think about it, little stops and pauses to keep us where we want to be, all right? So we're going to do it 8 times. So we're going to do it 7 more times, right? So you're going to peel yourself up and then make that C curve. Right, up, drop it down. All right, so now we've done a couple. We're going to do 6 more, but, right, a little check-in. If you're coming up and down, and you're having to come up like this, right? This is the only way you're getting yourself up, right? I don't want you to do that until you're working as your arms and your legs here, right? We want to work the core. So if that's what's happening to you, when you're down, right, before you start to come up, you're going to take your feet, lift them up to the sky, right? One leg at a time. Then you're going to reach your hands towards your feet, and then you're just going to roll up in that shape. You'll end up reaching forward, and then you'll do your C curve, just like we were doing before, all right? So if you need to take the dead bug variation, I'm going to offer it to you, right? If you can do the straight up ones like we've been doing, you can do that. All the way down, so we're just going to do 5 more here, right? Four more. Three more. Two more. Last one here. Yep. And then roll all the way back down, right? Feel like maybe it moves a little bit on your mat. So we're gonna rearrange that. All right, now last working thing we're gonna do here, we're gonna do some spirals, right? They're like the roll-ups we just did, but a little bit different, right? Work different muscles. So what you're gonna do here, I'm gonna go to the left first since that's the side that's facing you guys, right? You're gonna sweep your hands over to the left, right? And start like, almost like you're rolling over to your left side, except you're keeping your hips on the ground. Now, you're gonna take your hands, right? You sweep them around. If you need to, you're gonna drop that left elbow and press it into the mat. Push yourself up, come up, and sweep around towards your right toes. So it's, or towards your right toes, towards all of your toes. So it's just like we ended up, right, when we were doing the roll-ups. And then you sweep your hands back over to the left. And again, if you need to, you bend your left elbow, drop it down. If you can, right, keep everything up until you drop your left shoulder down and then come around. Right, do the same thing, go over to the right, and then you're gonna peel up. Now, if you need to drop your right elbow on the way up, you do that. Sweep your hands around, turn that C curve, take them back to the right, and then drop it all the way down. Let your elbow come down if you need to. So we're just gonna do it 4 more times on each side, right? So we're coming to the left, we go up and down the same direction. So we go up to the left, down to the left. Now we're gonna go up to the right and down to the right. Right, 3 more each way. To the left. Oof, my heels are starting to come up. If your heels are coming up, at least to the left they are, right? That's when you need to start dropping your elbow so that your heels stay in place. All right, so 2 more each way. I'm gonna drop my elbow on the way up so that my heels don't lift. Come back around. For some reason on the right side, it's not a problem, my heels are staying down. When I do it on the left side, I need to drop that elbow. That's okay, right? My left obliques are not as strong as my right today. Let's do it 1 more time each way. To the left. And then to the right. And let yourself come all the way down. Now we're just gonna roll to one side or the other, right? And push yourself up. We're gonna come up into a seated position. Do some stretches from here, all right? So as you get all the way up, take your left leg out wide and then bend into your right knee. And just bring the sole of the right foot against the left inner thigh. So you're in that half butterfly position. Right? You're going to take your left hand right along your left thigh and just start to slide that left hand down your left leg, right? Going as low as you can. Maybe you can get it all the way to where you're grabbing your left toes, but if you're your ankle or your shin or your knee, that's okay too, right? Now, take that right hand, reach it up to the sky. And you're gonna reach your right fingertips towards your left toes, right? Let your chest spiral open to the right. So you're looking up underneath your right armpit. If this really doesn't feel great in your right hand, just wrap your right hand around your back. Keep peeling that shoulder open, keep spiraling your chest to the right. So it can be here or here. Just take 3 breaths. Come all the way up. Now you're taking both hands up overhead here. Take your right hand now, drop it back down behind your right hip. And then that left hand is going to reach over the right shoulder. You look over your right shoulder. So your chest is still spiraling to the right, just like we were doing the last thing. If you want to here, you can press into that right palm, press into your right knee, let your left toes turn to the right, and lift your hips up off the mat. Right? If you don't want to lift your hips, then don't lift your hips. Just keep reaching that left hand. It looks like this, right? So either way. 2 more breaths. And then bring both hands up. You're going to turn yourself all the way here towards your left leg. And now just fold over your left leg. Both hands come down over your left leg. Bring your chest as far forward as you can over your left leg so you get that nice stretch in your left hamstring. Right? Don't round out here. You're not tucking your chin to your chest. You're not trying to get your head or your chin to your leg. You're just trying to bring your chest as far forward as you can. 3 breaths here. All right, now peel it all the way up here. As we peel up here, now we're going to switch it out, okay? So you're going to take your right leg, kick it long, kick it wide, right? I want that leg a little bit wider. Right, so right now I'm in this wide position. Then I'm going to bend into my left knee, bringing the sole of the left foot against the right inner thigh, right? So this time we start with the right leg, start with the right hand on the right leg. You're going to slide it down as far as you can along your right leg. Maybe it's your toes, maybe it's your ankle, or your shin, or your knee. Now that left hand's gonna go up to the sky. Reach your left fingertips toward your right toes. So your chest is spiraling left. Right? If this feels okay, stay right here. If it bothers your left arm, take that left arm, wrap it behind your back, peel that left shoulder open, keep spiraling your chest to the left either way. 3 breaths. Slowly peel up, bring your arms overhead. Right now you're gonna take your left hand, drop it back behind your left hip, and then you're reaching those right fingertips over your left shoulder, looking over your left shoulder. So you're still spiraling to the left. If you want to add that lift, you can. You press into your left palm, press into your left knee, let your right toes turn to the left, and come up. If you want to keep your hips down, keep your hips down. 3 breaths here. Drop your hips all the way back down. And then you're going to take both hands up to the sky, turn your torso totally toward your right leg, and then fold over your right leg. And just taking that chest as far forward as you can. Draping your chest over your left leg, right? Your head stays up the whole time. More breaths. Peel it all the way up. And you're going to take now both legs, bring them in front of you. Let's lay down on our back. One more time, we're going to come into our final pose, our legs at the wall pose. So if you want your wall space, right, find some place where you can put your hips against the wall. If you have that, if you don't, you're just coming into the center of your mat. You're letting yourself fly all the way down, and we're taking our feet straight up to the sky. So here we keep the head, the shoulders, the hips all the way down. Flex the feet like you're stepping on the ceiling, right? And that way it's relaxing. It's an inversion. You're taking the blood from your feet where it pools all day, sending it back to your head of your heart where you need it more, right? If you want to come all the way to a wall, let your legs rest against the wall, that's an option, right? Here. And you're going to pull your hips all the way against the wall so that most of your leg is resting on the wall. It's nice, but if you don't have the wall space, right, or it's too awkward to get into, you can just do it with your legs straight up to the sky. In addition to that increased circulation I talked about, we're also naturally lowering our blood pressure, flooding the body with all sorts of anti-aging, anti-stress hormones, we're resetting our circadian rhythms. Lots of good things happen when we get a little bit upside down. Now, whenever you're ready to come out of this, right, all you do, whether you're against the wall or you're in your mat, you bend your knees, right, let them scrape along your face and body. If you're against the wall, your feet come flat against the wall, right? If you're just in the middle of your mat, your knees are coming to your chest, and then everybody's just going to roll to one side or the other. So we end up in this little fetal position, take a little rest there, and then just push yourself up to seated, right? And that is our Pilates for today. Closer so I can see you guys. All right. Turn off the recording.